I'm Jeanne Tarrant. I'm the manager of the Threatened Amphibian program for the Endangered Wildlife Trust. I'm a conservation biologist, and this year I was very honoured to receive the Whitley Fund for Nature Award, which is an award for grassroots conservationists in the Southern Hemisphere. I must admit that frogs directly was not something that I was interested in. In fact, I was quite scared of them growing up. When I started studying them, I realised that there were these 8,000 amazingly diverse species, and I've certainly fallen in love with the group as a whole. Frogs are a really good, what we call bioindicator of the health of the environment, and that's for a number of reasons. So primarily amphibians, so as their name implies, they use water and land during their life cycles. So the weather and the climate in general is just absolutely a crucial part of any amphibian's survival. They come out at night, and so that's also very linked to the weather. So frogs don't want to expend energy calling, so the males come out and call to attract females to a breeding site, and that's very high energy expenditure. So they're blowing up their little vocal sacs, and they don't want to put themselves at risk of drying out. We monitor species also to gauge changes in population dynamics in response to some of our management interventions. So for example, clearing alien plants around wetlands, and we're trying to see through the monitoring whether there's any changes in those populations in response to those management interventions. A big part of my work has also been looking at disease of frogs, and so there we will go and we swab frogs for this amphibian fungal disease called chytridiomycosis. So we talk about pandemics in this day and age, but frogs have been suffering their own for 20 years. Amphibians globally are threatened by a number of things. We have now 41% of all species globally in those listed threatened categories, and the biggest threat by far is loss of habitat. Our frogs are found everywhere. They're on our mountains, they're in our rivers, they're in our wetlands. We've lost 70% of our wetlands in the country. So this change of habitat for human use, that's the biggest threat, followed secondly by pollution. So through our work, we do a lot of habitat protection work, directly addressing that major threat to frogs of habitat loss. And this is essential not just for our target species that we use as flagships to represent important wetland habitats or grassland habitats. They also are umbrella species for a huge number of other animals and plants in a certain area. These habitats represent really important services to humankind. So wetlands, for example, they prevent flooding from happening. They clean our water. These are really important aspects that we take for granted and that we don't actually pay for, that is given to us for free by nature. And so it's really important to have these systems protected and intact. So I think working in conservation, we have to have hope. And I work with a very passionate group of people at the Endangered Wildlife Trust, and we wouldn't be here doing this work if we weren't passionate and hopeful.